Hi, welcome to the Big Bear Homestead. And today is episode number 11 in our Sustainable Living series. So today, we're going to talk about rabbits. Okay, so today we're going to talk about rabbits. We're going to give a little bit of history on rabbits, and then we're going to talk about the good points and some of the bad points about rabbits and the different types of rabbits. Now remember, for sustainable living, we like our rabbits to have more than just one purpose. Okay? Now, rabbits have only truly been domesticated on a homestead farming environment for right around 1400 years. So when it comes to farm livestock, they're still kind of the new kid on the block. So with that in mind, what are rabbits good for? All right, so what is a rabbit's job on the homestead? What is a rabbit really good for? Well, depending upon the breed, you can get meat, you can get wool. Doesn't matter the breed, you'll definitely get great, outstanding fertilizer for your garden. And if done correctly, you can also have a lawnmower. So, with that being said, let's dive into the different types of rabbits. Alright, so when it comes to what type of rabbit, it basically breaks down into two categories, meat and wool. Now, with that being said, here's a little asterisk. With the meat breeds, you can still tan their hides and use it to make gloves, linings in a purse, all different types of garments. No different than if you were using fur from a fur bearer. With the wool breeds, they're basically mini sheep. You just brush it off or shear it off, and then you have your wool. And that is basically the Angora breed. Now there is a plethora of different types of Angora rabbits, but they're still basically the Angora. So that's your wool breed. Now, your meat breeds are rabbits like your New Zealand white, your Californians, your silver foxes, your wild rabbit. You know, all those different types of rabbits basically are bred for meat, because out of those three, they get anywhere from 8 to 16 pounds in a relatively short amount of time. Now, so we know we got meat breeds and wool breeds, but you always say there's got to be more than one purpose, Big Bear. So what else are rabbits good for? All right, we've already kind of mentioned some of the extra benefits that you get from having rabbits on your homestead, like the fertilizer. Okay, rabbit poo is like the king of the king of manures. All right, because you don't have to compost this manure. You can put this poo right in your garden and it'll be fine. I've known people that would sow seeds in rabbit poo and it does amazing. So you don't have to compost the poo like you would have to with pig manure or horse manure or cow manure. You can put it straight in there. And it also makes good compost tea. Now, when it comes to the lawnmower aspect, you do have to be very finicky about this, and this takes a while to get them just to where they're just on grass. But you can start to work your breed by selective breeding into the ones, and you can turn your rabbits loose in tractors and stuff, and they'll help cut your grass. Now, the meat breeds, it's a white meat. It's very low in cholesterol, basically no sodium, and it's really good for your heart. Doctors have started to get to the point with some of their heart patients that they are starting to implement rabbit meat into people's diets to help lower their cholesterol and help them with their heart health. Now, when it comes to the wool from the Angoras, some of that wool is selling anywhere from $10 to $16 an ounce. So that's an extra way to bring in extra income into your homestead. Plus, selling bunnies is another way to bring in extra income to your homestead. Okay, so how do you take care of these rabbits? I mean, how labor intensive are they? Well, they're not really that labor intensive. Rabbits need a lot of water. Okay? In the summertime, especially here in the south, they need a way to stay cool. Whether it's a 2-liter bottle with frozen water in it stuck in there that they can lean up against, whether it's putting them in the shade, adding an air conditioning unit into your rabbitry, ceiling fans into your rabbitry, a swamp cooler into your rabbitry, or like what we're in the process of doing is we're drawing up plans to build our rabbitry where their hutch, their house, is going to be in the ground so it stays that regulated temperature in the ground. Now, let's talk about feed. Rabbits can eat, of course, grass, hay, alfalfa, stuff like that. Mustard greens, lettuce, beet tops, carrot tops. They can eat all of that. But when it comes to the flip side with the fruits and veg, they can eat it, but they gotta eat it in small amounts due to the amount of starches and sugars that are in the fruits and vegetables. Which brings me to my rant. When we first started taking and having rabbits and started taking care of them, we did a little bit of research as we was going on, and I learned something that absolutely broke my heart. I learned that I've been lied to for a very long time, since a very young age, when I was still wearing my little footy pajamas and coming running out with my big old bowl of Captain Crunch cereal on Saturday morning. I have been lied to. And this is the lie. Bugs Bunny. Bugs Bunny is a lie. If Bugs Bunny was a real rabbit and he ate that many carrots, he would have died. Instead, he's still running around, messing with my boy Elmer Fudd and talking about, "What's up, Dad?" No, Bugs Bunny is a lie. They can eat the carrots, remember, because that's a veg. Only small amounts. If Bugs Bunny was a true rabbit, he would have died because all he ever ate was carrots. Okay, well that does it for this week's video in sustainable living. I hope you guys enjoyed this video on rabbits. We are going to include at the end of the video our video on our rabbitry, on how we were keeping our rabbits when we had rabbits here on our homestead. Thanks for coming by the Big Bear Homestead, and like always, have a nice day. Hi, welcome to the Big Bear Homestead. And today is episode number 11. 11.
As opposed to number unleavened.
Unleavened, yep. Okay, so let's talk about rabbits and where they fit in on the homestead. We're going to talk about... what are we going to talk about? I don't know. Okay, when you're talking about rabbits, it usually gets divided down into two groups. Your meat breeds and your wool breeds or your hair breeds. Now, your meat breeds consist of rabbits like the New Zealand white, the California white, the silver foxes. Your wool breed is mostly your Angora. Now, there's a list of different types of Angora, but they're all in the Angora family. Now, whether it's a meat rabbit or the wool, you can use the hides. You just got to tan them and smack people in the face with them. I just screwed that all up. Okay, so when you're talking different types of rabbits, it usually breaks down into two main breeds. Now, with that being said, with the meat breed, you can still use... I messed up again because I didn't tell you what the two different types were. Not, then it'll be the next one. Alright, so when it comes to rabbits, they usually break down into just two main categories. Meat and wool. Now, here's a little asterisk mark. With that being said, even with the meat breeds, you can still tan the hide, and the hide can still be used to make garments, gloves, hats, all kinds of different things. The wool breeds is... Caca pee pee. Okay, now we've already kind of touched on some of the things, the multiple purposes of what
you're trying to say.
This portion of my body is not working correctly today. Okay, we've already touched on the other uses for rabbits, the fertilizer and lawnmowers. But I want to I want to get through this video. I really do. All right, so we've already kind of touched on... You got it in my head.
Oh.